Is our speaker today, and so she comes with a lot of, I guess, local color, so to speak. She's been here for over 20 years. She was trained also as an attorney and practiced corporate law at several large Atlanta firms, but eventually she left the private practice in order to start a family and become more active in her community, which she did, although she still remains very current with, as a lawyer. And still has good standing in the bar. Let's see. She is currently a member of the DeKalb County School District and committees. District is it ESPLOST? East Plost. Okay. Advisory committee and has served in various ties in PTAs, the school councils, and the Lakeside Charter Summit. She's a member of the leadership DeKalb class of 2016. Congratulations. That's cool. And Randy is most proud of her work as a founding member of Parents Councils Limited, a group of leaders of parent councils from schools across DeKalb County working together for the good of all children of DeKalb. She's also a certified fitness instructor and in fabulous shape, and a personal trainer who teaches spinning, body pump, and Pilates classes at the Decatur Family YMCA. The contrast of her fitness and practicing law enables Randy to appreciate the many aspects of her mind, body, and keep her practice in people current, so to speak. At any rate, it's my pleasure, and as I said, I met you side by side. It's my pleasure to introduce Randy Faigin.
Thank you, Scott. And thank you all for having me today. This is a really exciting opportunity for me. Thank you for so graciously welcoming my parents, who I am lucky enough to have in town with me this weekend. When Scott first called me about meeting with you all, I was surprised. Why would a civic group want to hear from me? I'm just a regular person. Then I read up on the Rotary Club. I read about your mission. I even learned about that 4-point test. And Scott's request made a little bit more sense. In reading about the history of the Rotary Club, your values and your objectives, I realized that this group is committed to making an impact on our world, whatever our place in it. My personal mission statement is to treat everyone with kindness and respect and to be brave. It's kind of a combination of Katniss Everdeen from the Hunger Games and the Dalai Lama. As we talk today, you will learn that I am a big believer in mantras and even theme songs that we can rely on in our fast-paced world to keep us on track. In reading about the Rotary Club, the similarities between my mission statement and the Rotarian spirit were clear. Every acquaintance is an opportunity for service, the worthiness of all occupations, service in personal, business, and community life, and international understanding, goodwill, and peace through fellowship and service. So a little bit about me. I am, as Scott mentioned, I'm a parent, I'm a community leader, I'm a school activist, I am a fitness professional, I'm a reluctant lawyer, and I'm a Southerner by choice. I grew up in Ithaca, New York, a small college town in rural New York State. I went to Brown University, an Ivy League college in New England, where I was exposed to not just new ideas and great thinkers, but also to students who had very different backgrounds from me. Many of my classmates grew up in New York City, attended elite private schools, and at the age of 18 were very impressed with themselves. I was also lucky enough to meet the man who would become my husband. I thrived at Brown, challenging myself academically and engaging in all of the hip social action issues of the 1980s. I also focused on my long-range goal of becoming a lawyer and was excited to start law school after graduation. Enamored with the lives of those impressive New York City kids, I enrolled in law school at New York University in Greenwich Village in Manhattan. This was a pivotal decision for me, but not for any of the expected reasons. In New York City, I was learning from some of the greatest legal minds in the country. I was studying with people who aspired to work for the Supreme Court and the Department of Justice, and I was holding my own. But I felt like I had moved to another planet. Life and school in New York City were like nothing I could have imagined. My experiences bore no resemblance to Seinfeld or Friends. Instead, for me, the experience was much more Lord of the Flies, where everyone was out for themselves, and students would tear pages out of library books so that no one else could read the critical information. That's real. Everyone was a competitor, and personal connection was a weakness. Living in New York City was the loneliest year of my life. For the first time, I decided to do something against the grain. Rather than tough it out and reap the benefits that 3 years in New York would eventually yield, I made a change. I transferred to Vanderbilt, where my soon-to-be husband was also a student. At the time, for an Ivy League girl living in New York, the thought of moving to Tennessee seemed like the equivalent of getting on the Mayflower. I'd never spent time in any southern states except for Florida, which doesn't count, obviously. Country music wasn't cool. The only TV show depicting the South was The Dukes of Hazzard. But I took a leap. I knew I needed more human connection than I was able to find in New York. And I decided to give up the potential career success in order to get that human connection. Of course, now that I know about Vanderbilt and the South, this is all laughable. I was able to graduate from a top law school with all of the great job opportunities and networking that anyone would ever need. And I was able to do it at a place where kindness and respect were community values. Much better weather, too. Of course, there were a few jerks. It was law school, after all. But in general, I found a place where personal connection and service were valued along with career ambition. Rather than tear pages out of books, Vanderbilt law students would leave their notes on their desks in the library so that their fellow students could share them. Fast forward to my husband and I living in Atlanta and working at large corporate law firms. My career was on track. I was doing interesting work with mostly good people, although the germ ratio had increased somewhat. But for me, something was missing. I wasn't feeling that same satisfaction from my career that the others around me appeared to be experiencing. I was achieving material success for myself and for my clients, but I wasn't experiencing work as an opportunity to serve. I continued to struggle with the disconnect between career and service, as I also attempted to balance law firm and family life. After much hand-wringing and consternation, I decided to go against the grain again. I decided to leave the security of the law firm and devote my time to raising my family and serving the community. And I've never looked back. I used my head, but I followed my heart. When I felt passion, connection, and service to the community in an endeavor, I went all in, using my education and legal training if necessary. And if the activity didn't create that feeling that comes when you know you're contributing, I let it go. I started getting involved in the community. I became very involved in uniting parents of DeKalb County to push for accountability in our school district. I used my legal training to advocate for schools, and I quickly learned that it's not just about my children's schools that I care. It's about all of our schools. I'm blessed with the ability and capacity to be a voice for my children, but it's not just my children who need an advocate. It's all of our children. I began lobbying state representatives and senators to enlist their help in fighting for DeKalb County schools. And by fostering personal connections with them, I found we all care. We might have different approaches, but we all want our kids to receive the best education possible. While I spent most of my volunteer time on school advocacy and most of the actual physical hours of my day caring for my family, there was one more critical component of my existence. I took care of my health by working out at the Decatur Family YMCA. It's a Decatur Family YMCA person. There is no equalizer like a group fitness class. It didn't matter if you were head of CDC or an orderly at DeKalb Medical, a police officer or a clerk at Quick Trip. When you enter the Y, you're all the same. I loved the breaking down of barriers and the connection that working out at the Y provided. The people at the Y helped me feel powerful and strong. Taking care of my physical body was just as important as engaging my mind and filling my heart. The classes I took at the Y were a respite when we all thought the world was going to end after September 11th, when my family faced challenges, and on those occasions when I felt like I lost my purpose. Sometimes the brain is overwhelmed and the heart is so full it becomes numb. In those times, there is nothing left to do but move the body. The YMCA's mantra is mind, body, and spirit. All three work together like a three-legged stool. When one leg is overburdened, the others help absorb the weight. I wanted to join the staff of the Y in order to share with others everything that group exercise meant to me. I wanted to give others the gift of fitness, the escape from life's challenges, the confidence that comes from being strong, the community, the connection, the opportunity to serve each other through kindness and encouragement. I've been on the elite track with a fancy education and career, and I've stepped off that track and tried another. I've been a community volunteer, and I'm a fitness professional. We all know volunteers don't get paid for their work, and fitness professionals are never going to get rich. But both vocations are greatly rewarding. They are impactful. They change the world one person at a time. And so that's how Scott found me, a regular person working with Leadership DeKalb on behalf of Side by Side Clubhouse for people with traumatic brain injury. So, here are some things I've learned on my journey from high power attorney to fitness professional to community advocate. My tips from the gym. Number one, meet people at their level. We are all anchored in our circumstances. Suggesting a triathlon to someone brand new to exercise isn't going to help them get in shape. Instead, it will guarantee they never set foot in a gym again. But when we make the effort to understand where another person is coming from, we are more likely to find a place where our ideas can intersect. As we say in the fitness world, what is the best exercise? One that someone is actually going to do. Number two, goals are important. If we don't know where we want to go, we won't recognize it when we get there. You're here because you believe in making the world a better place. Set goals. Here is a fitness professional trick for goal setting. Goals need to be smart, specific, measurable, accountable, realistic, and time-based. This means just wanting to make the world a better place isn't an ideal goal. Pick one thing you can do to make the world a better place. Be specific. Perhaps providing companionship to someone incapacitated. Find a way to measure your steps to accomplish that goal. For example, spending 10 hours a month on your goal. Hold yourself accountable. Maybe have a fellow Rotarian that you report your progress to. Maybe a journal where you keep track of your efforts. Goals need to be realistic. If they aren't, you'll give up without reaching your full potential. Starting a volunteer program from scratch at a nursing home might be too much, but planning visits for yourself and perhaps inviting a friend to join you is doable. Give your goal a timeline. Plan to visit that nursing home once a week or whatever fits your schedule. Smart goals. Number three, go outside your comfort zone. We grow when we try something a little bit scary, not only in the obvious way of experiencing something new, but in our capacity for empathy. We can relate more to other people who are struggling with something new when we have also challenged ourselves with similar struggles. When I was becoming a certified personal trainer, the teacher asked us to visualize a market in a foreign country. Lots of booths with foods you've never seen, crowds of people in unusual clothing, currency you don't easily recognize, and a foreign language all around. Then the teacher said, that is what a gym looks like to someone who doesn't exercise. By ensuring that we experience the uncomfortable, we're better able to serve others. Number four, practice making mistakes. We have such high expectations for ourselves. We want to get to where we're going the fastest possible way. We want to get the best deal on the best new gadget. We want our celebrations to be perfect, our homes beautiful, and our meals locally sourced and organic. We're not always going to make it all right. Fear of mistakes prevents us from taking positive action. We might try a volunteer opportunity that doesn't work out. We might say something that makes us look stupid. That's okay. We keep trying. Maybe we get it right. Maybe we switch to a different activity, but we need to forgive ourselves for making mistakes. Number 5, negativity is toxic. We all learn the lesson growing up: if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. We have so much good in our lives and so much to rejoice in, yet our society is drawn to the negative. Recently, an article in the Harvard Business Review pointed out that people assume negative statements to be more intelligent than positive ones. Somehow, we feel like we need to demonstrate our value by pointing out what is wrong instead of what is right. There is a woman who comes to my class, comes to the Y almost every day. I'm not going to say name names here. And she takes my classes at least twice a week. She's a professor. She's intelligent. She's interesting. And often after class, she will stop me to say, "Great class, except I didn't like the third song. The stretches at the end were too long. The room was too hot. The room was too cold." She always looks for and feels compelled to share the negative. I've known this smart, well-educated person for at least 10 years, and I avoid her as much as possible. Instead, after class, I seek the people who seek out the positive and refrain from pointing out the negative. It's the same workout, but I feel much better afterwards when I'm with people who celebrate the positive. Number 6, don't judge. We have no idea what someone else has overcome to get to where they are right now. The person moving really slowly in front of you in the locker room might be struggling with pain, and getting dressed after a class is the biggest challenge of the day. Just the other day, someone in my neighborhood listserv posted a picture of a found dog with a caption that said, "Bella is being neglected." Bella had run away several times and ended up in this neighbor's yard. The neighbor wrote, "This dog is clearly neglected and not cared for by her family. Does anyone know who is supposed to be responsible for her?" It happens that I know Bella's family. They are a mom and 2 small children. The dad passed away suddenly last summer. That mom is doing everything she can to maintain a normal life for her children, to keep her house, and to manage her grief. Her dog sneaks out a lot. She is doing the best she can. Number 7, we're all worthy. Going from corporate lawyer making big bucks to a low-wage service field, I sometimes feel judged by people who use income as the only measure of value. But Rotarians know that there is dignity in every occupation and an opportunity to serve. I want to share a story that's not from the fitness world, but of a person who makes a huge impact in the life of my 10-year-old son, his bus driver, Miss Thomas. Joey, my son, has to be at his bus stop at 6:45 a.m. It is often cold and dark, but Miss Thomas is always there with a flashlight, welcoming the children and engaging them with kindness and cheer. Early in the school year, Miss Thomas and Joey bonded over their mutual love of the Atlanta Falcons and often talked about the team and reviewed critical plays in the game. The night of the Super Bowl was a rough one for Joey. His dad and his sisters are Patriots fans. Joey went to bed far too late, and he was heartbroken. My husband and I talked about letting Joey sleep in on Monday, miss the bus, and get driven to school later. But then I remembered Miss Thomas. I knew that the most important person for Joey to see that morning was his bus driver, because she was the person who would be able to share his disappointment. When Joey got on the bus that morning, Miss Thomas was there, greeting him, saying, "Joey, we're going to get them next year." Yes. Number 8, theme songs and mantras. life moves pretty fast. We are often reacting to changing conditions without having a chance to catch our breath and reflect on what we're doing. When working out, we focus on a mantra or play a particular song to keep us going. Theme to Rocky, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. One step at a time. Never give up. Personal mission statements are the theme songs and mantras we take with us everywhere we go. They help us navigate challenges when the pace is so fast that we don't have time to think. Treat everyone with kindness. Be brave. Speak truth. Fairness, goodwill. Whatever matters to you. Find a way to incorporate it into a theme song or a mantra so it will stay with you when you need it to react quickly. Today is a crazy world. We use technology to connect with people from around the globe, maybe two people, but we have lost the art of in-person human connection. We worry about large, complex issues that we probably don't fully understand and we certainly can't control. And those worries cloud our vision and prevent us from seeing our neighbor who we can help. And we are scared. Scared of making a mistake, scared of offending someone, scared of being publicly shamed, and scared of all those things we can't control. Technology, unpredictable traffic, extreme weather. The antidote to this is positive personal connection and service at a small level. Doing something kind, letting someone cut in traffic, offering a smile to a stranger. Our society lauds achievements that are big and individualistic, making millions of dollars, getting thousands of Twitter followers, or inventing the hottest iPhone app. Everyone wants to cure cancer, but few people aspire to be the person who gives comfort to someone fighting cancer. The Rotarians know the significance of service above self. And now you can use the tips from the gym as you work to make the world a better place. Meet people at their level. Set smart goals. Go outside your comfort zone. Practice making mistakes. Avoid negativity and judgment. You all recognize the value of every person and every occupation, and we can all use a good theme song to motivate us on our journey. Thank you.
Do we have any questions before I read a comment from someone online?
I wanted to thank you for coming and your parents also. And I'd also like to give the sunshine report, which I was supposed to do later.
Oh, okay. Well, you want to hold off until we do the questions, and I can bring you
Why
back
don't we
up?
do any questions here? If anybody
That would be great. Thank you, Scott. Okay. Yes, Ken.
Are you doing a spin class?
I am. You want to come?
Yeah, well, yes and no.
Yes.
She won't judge.
Are you a fan of the insanity of T25 workouts or high cardio?
No. I mean, I think whatever workout would get people to work out is great. But I think there's this interesting thing going on in our world with everything to the extreme, where you don't have to do the whole insanity workout. It doesn't have to be insane. You could just maybe, exercise a little. So.
Well, I have Lou Gehrig's disease, so I have something to prove.
Well, it's great that working out is great, and I would love for you to come to my spin class.
When is it?
I teach Mondays at 10:30, Wednesdays at noon, the nooner class, and Sunday mornings at 8:15. But not this Sunday because it's Easter.
It's an hour, about an hour.
Mm-hmm. An hour. That includes your warm up, your cool down, chance to wipe the sweat off the floor with the bike boy. It's fun. It's a blast. It's a lot of fun.
Maybe we should all go.
That would be great.
Instead of a meeting one day, field trip.
Field trip? Yeah.
You field trip.
I have a tip. If
Yes,
you don't belong to the Y, you can come in and just try. And just go to the front desk and say, I'd like a guest pass. And give them my name, and you'll be sure to be turned down. No.
No, everybody
So
loves
you
great.
can come to the Y without paying one time.
Okay,
So-
this is a dumb question. Where is the Y located?
Oh,
For those of us
okay.
that don't know.
Dumb question.
Well, you go on in 70th, and you go as far as you can, and when you get to Claremont, you turn right.
I know exactly where it is.
And
Yes.
it's about a block, maybe 100 yards, 200 yards on the left.
I remember now, thank you. That's great. Okay.
Randy, I just wanted to see if you could share a little bit about what you do at Side by Side as a volunteer.
Sure.
Oh, yes, we do plenty of time, so I'll say
Okay.
that again.
What I ended up doing was through Leadership DeKalb, which I assume you're all familiar with, but one of the things the Leadership DeKalb class of people who are learning about DeKalb and how to be better leaders, they all have a service project. And so you're randomly assigned to a group. And you don't realize that the first day, wherever you're sitting at lunch, that's your group. But they don't tell you that. But and then your group is given a community service organization that has a particular request for help. So Side by Side was assigned to my group, and it was just luck and providence that I got matched up with a group that was such a good fit and something I could be so passionate about. So Side by Side was interested in increasing awareness about them with the caveat of not increasing membership because they already have more potential participants than they can serve. But it's really good for everyone to know who they are because then when companies are looking for grant opportunities and ways to serve with money, people think of them. So, and just so my parents, in case no one else knows, so Side by Side Clubhouse for people with traumatic brain injury is a day facility for people who have had a traumatic brain injury, and sometimes through illness, but so where they've had to relearn however the impact of their injury might have manifested itself. And it's such the great equalizer because brain injury doesn't pick and choose who is going to have it. And so there might be a former CEO who is there, and there might be a police officer who was hurt in the line of duty, and that until you need to relearn whatever it is you thought you knew how to do, like put a postage stamp on an envelope or whatever it is, use a phone, until you're able to do it with confidence. So they asked us to increase their awareness, and we ended up coming up with kind of a media campaign for them. And it's funny because here I was saying about lack of connection and the technology, but we utilized technology and we encouraged them to utilize technology to increase awareness and get a Facebook page going, and we got them a Twitter handle, and we and to like retweet things from other organizations to make people more aware of them. So that's what we got to do, it was great.
Thank you.
Wonderful. Any more questions?
There's someone you can To Leadership DeKalb? No, you just have to have an interest in DeKalb. So some people don't live in DeKalb, but maybe work in DeKalb or feel a tie to it for whatever reason. I've never heard of anyone judging, oh, well, this person doesn't, they want to be involved in this, but we don't think it's authentic. It's caring about DeKalb. And it was a great program. I highly encourage anyone who wants to consider it to learn about it. I really learned a lot.
And speaking of Leadership DeKalb, one of our online attendees, Rotary and Alicia Quintine.
Oh, I was hoping I would see her here. Hey,
Yes.
Alicia.
Her comment is awesome, Randy. Member of the best class ever, 2016. So proud of you.
Oh, thank you, Alicia. Best class ever.
And Levitt, you had a question?
Well, I was just curious, how long have you been away from the corporate law world, and do you ever, it doesn't sound like you ever miss it, but do you ever miss it? Or?
Every once in a while I do. I mean, sometimes I do think that we judge people when people say, what do you do? And I sort of practice what I say, how to answer that. And sometimes it would be nice to have that little crutch of, oh, I'm a corporate lawyer. Everyone knows what that is, even though you don't, and I still don't, and I did it for a long time. But I've seen it on TV. But and sometimes I miss it's rare because I think the farther you get away from something, the more you remember just the good, which is not a bad thing. But sometimes I miss the idea of working in a group to work hard and accomplish a goal. And then of course I forget about when someone doesn't do what they're supposed to and waiting for an email that doesn't come or that kind of thing. But sometimes I miss that, but I've tried to recreate that through other things, such as Leadership DeKalb and through especially advocacy in the schools. And So then I miss it. I miss having a secretary too. But, but what are you going to do? My husband is also an attorney, and he has his own firm, so periodically I get dragged in that way. And that's enough to keep my finger in it a little bit, and then to remind me why I like not having my whole hand in it.
That's great. Well, thank you so much,
This
Maggie.
was great.
We really appreciate it. If you would step out in front of the lectern. Thank you. As I mentioned earlier, we have the Hero Box. Every month we send a box, and this, for the next 6 months or so, we'll be sending it to Staff Sergeant Tamika Branch. She's from Congress. She has 2 small children, and she's given us a list of things that she would like to have. And then each week we put in information about our weekly speakers. She'll be reading about you.
Oh, wow. That's
and
wonderful.
this is a certificate of our appreciation to let you know you are a part of Hero Box.
Oh, thank you so
You
much.
are so welcome. All right, thank you,
Thank
Randy.
you.
Thank you. That was really wonderful.